What's going on? NFL Daily coming at you. Mitchell Renz, Tom Downey. We're going to dive in now to the latest news and rumors, and we're starting the show off with a Brandin Cooks trade rumor. I think he's on the block. He tweeted out, "Free me." Is he going to the Eagles?
He did later clarify that the freebie was because he was pent up and couldn't handle being quarantined anymore. However, the Brandin Cooks trade rumors have been out there for a little bit these days, and I think it does make some sense. The Rams are trying to maintain a little bit more flexibility with their cap than what they have right now. Peter King mentioned the Eagles as a landing spot. I think that makes a ton of sense because they certainly need a wide receiver. He also mentioned that they could get a second-round pick. But if you're trading Cooks, you're not selling high on his value right now. You're selling on him after an injury-plagued and, more importantly, concussion-plagued year. I know it's fantasy, but I have Brandin Cooks in a dynasty league. I want to trade him because I am concerned about those concussions. I don't know if the Rams are going to get the value they want out of Brandin Cooks, which makes me suspect maybe he sticks around in LA for one more year.
And I think when you talk about Brandin Cooks, you also, of course, you got to talk about the money because he is one of the highest paid wide receivers. He's set to make $8 million, $12 million, $13, and $14 over the next 4 seasons, but then he's going to have cap hits at about $17 million. So those are just his base salary numbers. I mean, you're paying Brandin Cooks to be a top 10 receiver, and he's talented. However, the concussions, they scare the heck out of me, especially because of everything going on right now with this Big C dilemma. So Brandin Cooks, no doubt, is a very talented receiver. He's still only 26 years old, but I'd be shocked if they got anything above a second-round pick for Brandin Cooks. So Peter King does mention the top 4 teams for Cooks, and these are the top 4 teams that he mentions. He says the Philadelphia Eagles, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Green Bay Packers, the Washington Redskins. Tom, where do you think Brandin Cooks is going to play in 2020?
I still think he's going to stick around with the Rams. I like the Eagles as a fit there. The Packers make sense if they miss out on a receiver in round 1 or the one that they won in round 1. And I'll throw in one other team that I know King didn't mention, but I think makes sense. How about the New York Jets?
Love it. No Robbie Anderson.
Exactly.
Makes a lot of sense. So I'm actually going to make this the pinned comment on today's video on YouTube. So for those of you watching this, you might get hit with an ad break. While the ad is playing, I want you to scroll on down, and I want you to comment, where will Brandin Cooks play in 2020? Next rumor in here, Tom. Laremy Tunsil, not only is he getting an extension, he's getting just mind-blowing numbers. You showed me this report, and I couldn't even believe it was true. Walk me through what kind of money Laremy Tunsil will be getting, because apparently DeAndre Hopkins can't get it.
Well, he's going to get record-setting money from somebody because he's either going to get paid by the Texans or hit the open market. He is a talented young left tackle, and Houston gave up a significant amount of draft capital to acquire him. Now, there might be some sunken cost fallacy in there, sure, but the Texans did not get an extension with Tunsil when they made that trade. He is going to become the highest paid tackle in the NFL. He's a left tackle, a really, really good one, a young one, ascending. The cap's going to keep going up. What that means is Tunsil's going to get a lot. Their reported offer, Houston's, was $18.5 million. Tunsil wanted $20 million. Now, we don't know the details there, so that could be a little bit different. But I fully expect Tunsil to be the highest paid left tackle and just offensive lineman in the NFL once he agrees to that deal.
I mean, right now he is under contract for this season at $10.35. And as you said, I mean, I think Laremy Tunsil is one of the best young tackles. And if you're the Texans, well, if you're not going to pay DeAndre Hopkins, you better at least pay the man who's going to be protecting the most important asset on your team, and Deshaun Watson. But I don't care. It doesn't make sense to me that you're not going to pay DeAndre Hopkins, but you're going to go out and pay Laremy Tunsil. I know you said that they're different, but it's mind-blowing to me.
The issue is, Mitch, is that you can't try to find logic in the DeAndre Hopkins trade. You're just not going to. So you can only try and find sensibility in the deals that are going to be made. You kind of got to toss out that Hopkins one altogether.
Well, Tom, we're going to toss out this one here. It's around the NFL draft. I know you love the draft. And it's about Justin Herbert. And with the whole Big C thing going on, we got a video call, Raiders, Chargers, talking with Justin Herbert. I know there's been a lot of rumors about the Chargers taking him there, even now the Raiders apparently. What says you about this meeting?
I'm not surprised. It makes sense to me that both these teams are doing at least their due diligence on quarterbacks. I don't think the Raiders are going to trade up for Justin Herbert. I think the Chargers might just stand pat and take him, quite frankly. But if you're a team that's looking for a franchise quarterback, and clearly the Raiders are interested at some level of at least exploring other options, why wouldn't you set up a call with Justin Herbert? Just more background information here. You can't do the normal pre-draft visits, so instead, teams are doing FaceTimes and video calls with prospects they're interested in instead.
I mean, we also saw it all last year, too, with the Raiders, right? I mean, they interviewed Murray. They interviewed basically Dwayne Haskins, every single quarterback in the room. And I think if you're Mike Mayock, if you're John Gruden, it doesn't hurt you to go out and interview a quarterback, because then maybe a team thinks you'll take him. Who knows? You might even get some extra draft capital. So here on Chat Sports, we are an interactive YouTube and Facebook channel, and we want to know from you, who will draft Justin Herbert? Type C for the Chargers, type R for the Raiders, type O for other. While you get your votes in, we're going to take you through the depth charts of both of these teams, because the Chargers, they say that they're okay going with Tyrod Taylor. They say that. I don't really believe it, Tom. I'm sorry.
I choose to believe that was a Charger saying we're going to roll with Tyrod Taylor as our veteran, as our experienced option. They're drafted in the top 10. I know that this is an organization that's kind of needing to win right now, especially head coach Anthony Lynn. But if there's a franchise guy for you on the board at the top in the top 10 that you think can be your long-term guy for the next decade plus, you take him over Tyrod Taylor. So I know that's what they said publicly. I'm not convinced that they're going to pass on a quarterback early.
Then you got to look at the Raiders. You could give me at least the argument for Justin Herbert if they didn't go out and give Marcus Mariota $7.5 million this year. I think if you see the Raiders go out and address the quarterback in the draft, it's going to be for a player like a Jalen Hurts, who I do know that they are very interested in him, but it's going to be later on, maybe in the third round where they have 3 picks. I would be shocked, and I mean shocked, if the Raiders went out, not only drafted Justin Herbert, but drafted a quarterback whatsoever in round 1.
I mean, I think for the Raiders, it's a question of, do they fall in love with the kid? We know how John Gruden likes quarterbacks, and he's explored the option before. I do think you're right, though. Because of where they're drafting, I don't think they're going to trade up for a quarterback, which makes me think that they're going to stand pat or move up for somebody else that's not a quarterback in the end.
So if you love the NFL draft, we have the best guy in the biz. Go follow him on Twitter at WhatGoingDowney. But also make sure that you are subscribed to our YouTube channel. Last year, we were the #1 most watched NFL draft coverage on the internet. Heck, over 7 million views. We had like 20,000 people watching us at one time. We will be live for all 7 rounds. It's like 24 straight hours worth of coverage. And yes, we will get the picks before ESPN does. So click that subscribe button. If you can't find the subscribe button, we'll put it in the comments. We'll put it in the description below. And also turn on those notifications so you know every single time we go live. All right, Tom, let's also now dive into Dwayne Haskins. Just 1 year. 1 year. They draft him. Is he going to be the starter going into, let's say, week 1 of 2020?
You're very much all of a sudden stuck in another Josh Rosen, Kyler Murray debate here. The big issue is the owner did want Dwayne Haskins, and Ron Rivera says he's going to be the starter going into camp. That shouldn't be a huge surprise. He's not going to say anything to the contrary. They brought in Kyle Allen as a backup, maybe to push him. Where things could get crazy is if the Redskins fall in love with Tua in this pre-draft process. Now, because of the injury, I don't think he's going to. Had Tua been fully healthy, and it would have been Burrow or a fully healthy Tua, I think that Haskins might have been on his way out. Because of the way that Tua's injury status is, I still think Haskins ends up being the guy, at least for 1 more year, in Washington.
So this was the quote from new head coach Ron Rivera on Haskins starting. That's what we're going into camp believing, but they're going to compete. We really like what we have in terms of our young quarterbacks. Kyle, a young guy who has a live arm, understands the game, understands how we do things. So I'm excited about what the potential could be. Now, for those of you that don't know, Kyle Allen, he played on the Carolina Panthers last year with Ron Rivera. And he also notes about Alex Smith, who is still recovering from an injury. I would be absolutely shocked if Alex Smith ever plays another snap in the NFL. I think it is going to be a quarterback battle between Dwayne Haskins and Kyle Allen, who they traded away a 5th-round pick for.
Yeah, it might really only be a battle in name only. If it comes down to just those two guys, I feel pretty confident the Redskins are going to go with Dwayne Haskins. He's got way more upside, and frankly, I just think he's a better quarterback, especially what we saw from Kyle Allen down the stretch last season.
I mean, you got to surround Haskins with a little bit more talent as well.
Sure.
I mean, his offensive line was poor. He had no running game. Your best receivers, a rookie in McLaurin, who I'll be honest, he had a great year. He surprised a lot of people. I know he surprised me. But if you want to talk about just overall talent, I mean, it doesn't take a, film analyst to realize that I think Dwayne Haskins has a much higher ceiling than a player like Kyle Allen. So we're going to ask you, will Dwayne Haskins be the Redskins starter week 1? We want you to type Y for yes, type N for no. Tom, you typing your Y for yes, or you typing an N for no?
I'm typing in my Y for yes. I think he is the starter.
Okay. I'm also going to be throwing up a deal on the screen for every single person watching right now. Watch this. Bang. Chatsports.com/NFL jersey. If you're a Redskins fan and you want a Dwayne Haskins jersey, you can go get these bad boys. Hundreds of NFL jerseys on sale. Normally they're like $100. These are now at about $80. So you can get a Russell Wilson. You can get a Dak Prescott. You can get NFL Color Rush. And if you can't remember the link, chatsports.com/NFL jersey. We'll put it in the comments. We'll put it in the description. I know that's a jersey Tom likes. Right now it's on screen. Ooh, look at that. That's pretty. Best jerseys in the NFL, the Raiders. Prove me wrong, Tom.
I refuse to.
You would agree? That's what I heard. Chatsports.com/NFL jersey. Hundreds of jerseys. Go rock your team. Let's go to the next thing here, Tom. Expanded playoff voting. This one is set for Tuesday, and there's a lot of different information going on with this. Can you kind of maybe walk us through the biggest things that we need to hit on the NFL playoff expansion?
So as you guys know, this was part of the new CBA, the expanded NFL playoffs here, 12 to 14 teams. That's what it's going to be. Now, technically, the NFL owners do get to decide in terms, it's more of the implementation of it all. That's what the main process is here in terms of, do they want it this year? Do they want to get all that in? So they are going to require some 3-4 majority rules to, set up some tiebreakers, set up all that other kind of stuff that's involved there. Because NFL owner meetings were canceled because of where we're at right now in the world, this is going to be done on a conference call. And there are a couple different votes involved here. Some of them include how the teams are going to be seated. You're not going to see much change from what we've seen in the past. It's just basically one more wild card team. You're also going to figure out what networks are going to get the games. There's an extra game right now. There's a new Amazon deal that's going to come up that's going to run from 2020 to 2022, so that's are involved there. And you're going to figure out, okay, well, let's figure out when these games are played in terms of the time slots, all of that. So this is really going to be more of a formality. The full expectation is all of these are going to be improved. NFL owners are not stupid. They are going to sign up with, yeah, exactly, Mitch. I'm going to take that extra money. I'm going to get the bag and end up reaping the rewards there from that extra playoff game and that extra TV money coming in as well.
So do you like the new playoff rules? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. I'm going to type my 1 for yes because to me it means one thing. And maybe I'm selfish. It means more football. Call me crazy. That's what I want. 1 for yes, 2 for no. Tom, what are you typing?
It's a 1 for yes. Those playoff games are not all going to be great, but you can bet we're all going to be sitting there watching them instead.
Oh my gosh, can't wait. So we'll give some shout outs here real quick to some people. Winston Shands typing 1. Kevin Otto's typing 1. Danae Jr., he's typing 2. Pretty interesting. Do you like the new playoff rules? 1 for yes or 2 for no? All right, Tom, let's time to debate about something here. So I saw this on ESPN, and since we had such a good debate last week, I figured, you know what? We're going to debate again. So who should get paid more money? Dak Prescott or Carson Wentz? Both very talented young quarterbacks in the NFC East. So if you want Dak Prescott or think Dak should get paid more, type D. If you think Carson Wentz should get paid more, type W. Tom, D or W?
Let me ask you some questions here, Mitch. Who's a better quarterback, Carson Wentz or Jared Goff?
Carson Wentz.
Okay. Who got paid more?
Jared Goff.
There's your answer. The reality of the world for NFL contracts is that the last of that 2016 draft class at quarterback, well, the big three, I should say, because there were some busts in there too. The last of those guys to sign their deal was going to get paid more. That is simply how contracts work in the NFL across the board. The answer very clearly is Dak Prescott. That's how things work. And beyond that, Dak's actually been healthy for his entire NFL career, unlike Carson Wentz, and that does carry some value. So Dak's going to get more.
But for me, though, I'm not trying to just say, all right, this is what has happened in the past. If you were telling me who's a better quarterback, Carson Wentz or Dak Prescott, I think Carson Wentz is a more talented player. The only thing is, I'm actually going to type my D for Dak Prescott because of what you mentioned, the health. The health. I'm not going to invest $128 million in Carson Wentz. I don't know if I'd invest that much in Dak either, but I'd rather pay somebody because guess what? I know Dak Prescott's playing.
I think that's a very fair argument. I think pure talent-wise, Wentz is better than Dak Prescott, but you have to factor in the availability. Wentz has always been hurt, and that is a serious long-term concern. Dak, despite being a pretty mobile quarterback at times, he's always gotten back up. He'll play through injuries as well. So for me, as much as I do like Carson Wentz, Dak is the correct answer here.
And I don't really always like giving this example, about wins, losses, because I think it's so much of an overblown quarterback statistic. Yeah. But I think when you play in the same division, I do think it carries maybe a little bit more weight because both the Eagles and the Cowboys have been very talented teams. Dak's been very good in Eagles games. I mean, it's a fact. He's also 4-2 against that team. So who should get paid more money? Type D for Dak Prescott, or I want you to type W for Carson Wentz. All right, Tom, we didn't have too much free agency news coming down, so I thought, you know what? Let's update NFL salary cap space. And to remember, this is deals that includes moves officially made. So there are some deals that have not quite gone down, but I just wanted to take people through some of these salary cap space. So the Texans, they have the most at 49.3. Jets, Browns, Chargers. The Titans then, they're number 5 here on this list, 32.5. The Lions have been very active also in free agency. The Broncos, Drew Lock, I'll be excited to see if they add more talent around him. Then your team, the Dallas Cowboys, they come in at number 9. Right there is the Eagles, the Colts, the Bills. I'm actually surprised on how much money the Bills still have remaining after all the moves that they made. Sneaky team there. And then at number 13, you got the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, what it seems like, have 100 picks in this year's draft. I mean, just absolutely loaded. The Dolphins, another team that's had a very aggressive free agency period. Let's jump in now to number 17, the Carolina Panthers. They got $16.8 million. The Rams, my Raiders at 15.3. I expect that number to get a little bit lower, probably around 6 by the end of this week. Let's go now to 21. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they got 14.8. Cardinals at 14.4. The Bengals, they've been pretty aggressive. The Ravens, let's go to the Packers now at 13 million. Seahawks, Saints at 9.2. And now this next group, and yes, I had to put dollars because the Chiefs literally have $177. So if you have more money than the Chiefs, type me. That's my message.
Most people are going to type in me there. As a reminder, this is only factoring the official deals that have happened so far, meaning there are deals that are not included that will be factored in later. Some trades have not been made official either. For example, the Bears. I do want to make note, though, the salary cap is malleable. You can make the numbers look a lot different by cutting one player or restructuring a different player. So it's all available to change going forward. The cap space on a micro level doesn't really exist in the NFL, frankly.